Major funding for this videotape provided by the Institute for Operations Research and the Management Sciences.
If you're not careful, you could get burned.
I'm wearing sunblock. Hey, wait a minute. Who said that?
I'm not talking about your tan. I'm talking about the new things you'll have to face this fall.
Okay, is this some kind of joke? Come on, who's there?
I'm just someone who would like to help you think about your college plans. A voice of experience, you might say.
This is weird. How'd you know I was worried about college?
All of your friends are worried about college, especially declaring a major. I assumed you would be too.
Yeah, tell me about it. It seems nuts to have to pick a subject now that's going to affect your career, maybe even your whole life.
Let me help you think it through. Now, what subjects interest you?
Well, I like math. I mean, I always did pretty well solving problems. And I do like computers. But how do you make a living at it?
You could be involved in a lot of fascinating things. Math and computers are used every day in exciting ways.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. Wouldn't you have fun running a TV station or working for the airline industry or making executive decisions at Walt Disney World?
Oh, come on. I doubt very much that math has anything to do with all those great jobs. I doubt very much that Mickey Mouse ever had to do calculus.
Ensuring the success of Walt Disney World as a vacation spot and as a business requires the use of a special type of analysis called operations research. The objective of operations research, also known as management science, is to find the best way to solve a problem. Sometimes that means finding the fastest way to do a job. Sometimes it means finding ways to increase profits and decrease costs. But it always means finding the most efficient way to run a complex operation. The people at Disney World are famous for making sure their visitors have fun. And keeping their reputation intact means solving tricky customer service problems, like the long waiting lines that may develop in front of popular attractions. In the world of operations research, that waiting line is known as a queue. Norm Durges is vice president of Epcot Center.
How people move around within our parks is very important to us because it is the method in which we deal with their experience. How we do that and how well we do that determines whether or not they enjoy what they do here or go away saying, that was difficult.
The most important part of successful queuing is to keep people moving, but there are different ways to meet that goal. Sometimes it helps to look at the kind of queue people are forming. Would it be better to have one line and a first-come, first-served policy like we're used to seeing in a bank? Or how about having more than one queue, which is pretty common in grocery stores, and allowing customers to choose which checkout line they want to join? Well, the question then becomes, how many lines or queues should there be to provide an acceptable level of customer service?
You know, that's a good question. I always do pick the wrong line at the supermarket.
At Walt Disney World, exactly how long is the average person willing to wait in a queue?
30 minutes.
How about you?
Depends on the ride, but for some of the rides I'd be willing to wait half an hour, 45 minutes. No, I don't care how long it takes, 'cause I like all the rides.
Walt Disney World employees spend a lot of time collecting research data and customer opinion. They then develop a computer program that simulates visitor behavior and waiting times.
Putting all of that data together gives us the ability to build this computer model and to start locating attractions and restaurants and all of these exciting things in different areas, interconnecting them with pathways, and then with this model simulate where people are going to go and how the lines are going to form. And then that gives us the ability to start making decisions about design. Very, very important, of course, because that controls the capital cost of a project. We want not to over-design something. We could not afford to do that. On the other hand, we don't want to under-design things and create big wait times that are unnecessary and unpleasant for people to experience.
Wow, I'm impressed. The people at Disney really take that math seriously. What'd they call it again?
Operations research or management science.
Oh, yeah. But you know, if I really thought about it, I think I would have figured out that a company as big and as successful as Disney pays attention to ways of best finding the answer to a problem. That's how they stay being successful. There's really no news in that.
What do I have to do to prove to you that management science is news? Wait a minute. I know. Beating the deadline for getting a weekly television news show together can be a pretty harrowing experience.
Okay.
But underneath the air of madness, there's a lot of method here. There needs to be a careful plan to get all the parts ready on time and in the right order to meet the broadcast deadline. For this show, editors must screen several hours of videotape, edit it down to fit into the hour the program has to fill, and make sure the whole package is ready to broadcast. The staff for this weekly news show has a little over 1 day, 28 hours to be exact, before airtime. To meet that deadline, everything has to run like clockwork. This program has to edit 6 stories. There are only 2 editors available, but they'll both work until the show is ready to go on the air. Each story takes a different length of time to edit, and the stories have to be edited in a certain order. Here's how operations research tackles the problem. The first thing to do is illustrate all of this graphically. The 6 news stories are balls, labeled with the length of time it takes to edit each of them. The arrows show the order in which the stories have to be edited. Looking at the layout of the tasks awaiting the editors and their machines, you can quickly see what the earliest completion time will be. How? Well, operations research tells us that the longest path provides the earliest completion time. This length, also known as the critical path, is 30 hours. This won't do at all, considering the show airs in 28 hours. It's time for the producers to make some executive decisions. They change the editing order of the stories. They add a 3rd editing machine, and they reduce by 1 hour the time each story takes to edit. All those changes should simplify this problem quite a bit and give the staff plenty of time before the show's deadline. But wait. It turns out that even with the changes made to speed things up, the whole process now takes 31 hours. Strange as it seems, trying to make the scheduling easier has only made matters worse. Now what?
Talk about a twisted plot line.
Well, let's see just how bizarre this really is. If you look back at the easier case, you can see that the critical path adds up to 27 hours. And a schedule can be designed using 3 edit machines, which takes 27 hours instead of 31. Here it is, and you can check out that it works. But another thing had to be done that at first blush seems inefficient. The 2nd edit machine was allowed to sit idle when there was a story waiting to be edited. So while trying to find the quickest scheduling time, a pretty unexpected conclusion was reached. In this example, the most efficient solution doesn't come from increasing the resources or decreasing the work. It comes from looking at the problem in a new way.
This is incredible. Before today, I had no idea operations research even existed, and now I can think of a million ways in which it can be used. Even at Burger Heaven where I work, Wally, my manager, is always having problems trying to figure out how many French fry machines keep going at one time.